There we go. All right. What's good? What's going on, everybody? You've made it to another episode of the Bang and Steel Show. What's up, brother Steel? How you doing?
What's up with it, man? All good.
Hey, all good, all good, all good over here, man. I'm very excited because today, well, tonight, whatever you want to call it, we are right here with the new the new platform, the official Bang and Steel platform on YouTube, and also um, Black Wall Street, Texas. So big shout out to Black Wall Street, Texas, and big shout out to everybody that's tuning in to the official Bang and Steel Show YouTube channel. So we finally kind of like moved into a different format, well, a better format up under the same umbrella. So, and also a big shout to Real Soul Food TV. So, here we go, here we go. So, my brother, you picked the subject matter, and we'll go ahead and exploit the data. So, what's going on with it?
Absolutely, man. Shoot. Well, it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week. A lot of
Hell of a
stuff,
week.
a lot of stuff been going on, been happening. And I thought it was only right that we at least touch on, what been going on in the news lately in regards to uh the Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse trial
Okay.
and all the ongoings with that, you know.
Okay.
Um, you know, and we, as we all know by now, that the verdict was not guilty.
Okay.
And
Not
are
guilty.
we surprised?
Nah, well, I be honest with you, brother. I never was surprised with it, and my interest in it didn't really peak simply because of there are some factors in there that I really didn't that kind of told me, especially like in the very beginning where the judge stated that the people who were shot couldn't be called victims. You know what I'm saying? They could only be called rioters, looters, or whatever. Some name that had a negative connotation on their life or whatever. I'm not saying that, I'm rooting for them or whatever. It's just the characterization of it, you know what I'm saying, going through. But I do realize that, and plus I did see evidence. I'm not saying that I watched not I didn't watch the trial in its entirety, but I did, see a lot of key things, and I saw some things where I saw where the Mr. Kyle, Mr. Rittenhouse was being attacked. I saw those things, and I saw where he was kind of in one instance where he was pretty much forced to defend himself, and he had to shoot. But also at the same time, I mean, I think that, looking at the other side of that, I mean, who you came to that place, or is it Kenosha? You came there looking for a situation. You were actually looking for that type of outcome. You was looking for you he basically did what he did in in two times. That was, he basically pulled a George Zimmerman on the Canotians. Basically, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna look for trouble, and then once I get the trouble to come to my door, boom, and then I'm going to have the proper legal representation behind me to say, hey, he was defending himself, he has a right to bear arms, I'm gonna lean on the Second Amendment, therefore I'll be innocent. I
So
was
part of
that's that was my whole feed into that, and I felt like that the way that it was going, that's what it was going to lead to.
part of my thing is, did he actually have the right to bear arms? That is a hot question, because
Okay.
you can look at it several ways, but let's be technical about it.
Okay.
Wisconsin's law states that any person under the age of 18 is actually not allowed to carry a firearm or rifle for that matter. And the only way that they can have a rifle is if they was accompanied by an adult and if they were hunting.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
my understanding is that dude was not there in Wisconsin to hunt, or was he? You know, depending
No,
on
no.
your
We
definition
we
of
know we
hunt.
know why he was there. And
Exactly.
he did have an adult bring him.
There was an adult that actually brought him, but he was not there to hunt.
No.
Again,
Well,
like I
in a
just
way he
said, but
was.
or was he?
In a
But
way he was.
in the situation that he found himself in, that adult wasn't nowhere around. He was out there all
Absolutely.
by himself walking around, and his argument of I was there to help protect businesses, and I'm helping do you need medical assistance, asking people for that, and trying to put out fires.
Right.
That's bogus. That's bogus in anybody with some real common sense. But let me go towards the to the judge. I think that this whole situation was stacked in Cal Rittenhouse's uh, uh, in his benefit,
Okay.
because the judge, that judge, man, it was like a gift from the conservative side for him, because that judge was like an unofficial lawyer for him. He set up the rules of the court to be in Rittenhouse's benefit. Um,
Okay.
and let me go to my little note. The judge was saying that in regards to the law that we was just talking about, how you're supposed to be under anybody under the age of 18, that's illegal for you to have a rifle,
Correct.
firearm.
Correct.
And to my point that the judge was on Rittenhouse's side from Jump Street,
Yeah, when
the
he
judge
struck that out of there. He struck that
exactly.
out of there.
And the reason why he struck it out of there was because he said that he had a big problem with the state statute. He,
Okay.
but this is a law. Aren't you supposed to, as a judge, what happened to upholding the law?
Well,
That part of the justice system, man. Yeah, for the
okay.
life of me, man, it's like, come on, justice for who? You
I don't
know,
okay. But okay. As a black man, and what you just said, how is that ever new to us?
it's absolutely most definitely not news to us.
And
But
it's not given. Check it out. My whole argument will always be, where do we stand? You know what I'm saying? As black folks, we already know. I mean, I've stated this a gazillion times, and I'll probably stated it a gazillion more. But we know how this system operates for us. We know the parameters of the law for us. We've been knowing this for centuries, if you want to call it that. You know what I'm saying? Decades. We've been knowing this. So my whole viewpoint of that is, um yeah, let me be honest. I, I've struggled with trying to find some care about this dude and his situation. And he, for one, he ain't shoot up none of us. He shot up his own people. Now, I will say this: rest in peace to those allies, because they were allies to a movement. Okay, so their lives have value. But at the same time, okay, for what we know of the law and how it exists for us, and what we fight for and what we die for and what we don't get that representation for, that's where I'm at. Because what he got, none of this, okay, from the beginning of the trial all the way to the end, bruh, I'm not surprised, and I couldn't find any care. I couldn't find the. Oh man, I'm pissed off. I want to do this and do that. No, if
To
anything,
me, it's
if
not about.
anything,
To me, it's not about that though. It's not about uh, being riled up to be angry. The
I,
care should be, and not so much like what happens to him. My thing is this. Okay, the people that he shot and killed. Okay, they wasn't black,
no, they
but
were
they were out
allies.
there. That's what I'm getting.
They were
They
allies
were
to a
out
cause.
there being allies for and marching, protesting for justice for one of us.
Hmm.
Uh, and that right there, hey, appreciate it. And also, look, we all knew. Me speaking for myself, I knew. I had a feeling. Put it like that. I had a feeling that this trial was going to end the way that it ended. I mean, again, just the way that it started. All the cards were stacked. All the cards was laid out and ready to go. All the jury had to do was go in there and you know, uh, come up with an agreement or something. And I just knew
Right.
it was going to be like that. But here's the most important thing. This right here just reconfirms that we live in a two justice system society, and the law is clearly applied in different ways for black folks versus white folks. Always has been, and up until now, still will be.
Right.
But the thing is about all of this, all these situations are open or continuing to open up people's eyes. We already know, true, but those allies and some of these other people out here, they
Hmm.
need to see this. They need to see this type of stuff
They
because
see it.
we've been talking about it and saying it and knowing it for a while. But the rest of the country is like they've had blinders on and they don't want to acknowledge the fact that justice is not applied equally. This right here clearly shows that that is the case.
Uh, I agree. I'm just not shocked. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I agree. I'm just not shocked or surprised. We have to. We don't. Okay. For one, we don't participate in too many processes for that to be effective for us in the long term. Anyway, we don't participate in off-year elections like we're supposed to have representation across the board to affect things locally, politically. We don't do that. We don't, as a people. Yeah, we may not be
We need to
monolithic
do it better.
voters. You know what I'm saying? We may not be monolithic voters, but we are damn sure monolithic when it comes to the time that we vote, and that's only during a general election year that we vote. So for me, if you want some representation, like you just said, apply laws legally, you know what I'm saying, and have that without bias, you're gonna have to affect the voting system on a local level. You're gonna have to we have to have rallying points for voting systems on a local level and forget all this general election thinking and putting all our eggs in one basket, thinking that all our solutions lie with a president that's supposed to be for us when they just collecting votes just to maintain a certain amount of power and only to give you a smidgen of what they promised you. We got to get out of that particular mentality and start to understand that we got to affect these local off-year elections. Right now, you talk about a problem that's about to surface. Democrats right now, Democrats got some heat up against them right now because there are Democrats that look the black white ones. They're gonna hold their feet to a power structure, say, hey, now we did this to put you in power, but we don't like what you're doing. And you got and right now the voting, the way that the voting structure has been set up with the House and the Senate, we may lose so many seats that you may turn the president into a lame duck president, which makes him powerless. He couldn't do anything because everything will go against him. So we have to think about it. We have to think about it. What affects? What can we do from Kenosha to Texas, Florida, California? We still have to put ourselves in the mind of, hey, we need to rally together to affect these local elections and put those people in play. Put those people in play. Put the judges in play. Put the type of police chiefs and everything that we need in play to structure a system to where justice can be applied. As you said. But if we don't focus on that, and they're only representing, say, a far right conservative board who only deal with minorities in a stereotypical fashion, yeah, you're gonna have that. Of course, you're gonna have that. There are plenty instances across the U.S. where you have that. But the only way to defeat that is to get involved with the political process and hit those local elections, man.
And
That's
I
the
agree.
only solution I see. And that
You
is the
make a
solution.
you make a good point, and to the fact that we definitely got to hold these local during these local elections. We definitely got to hold these representatives and people running for office, whether it's police chief, whether it's mayor, whether it's governor,
Absolutely.
whether it's city council. All of them folks need to apply pressure to them, and I think that that's being done, man. It just needs to be more of it.
It's
More
not
of it needs
being
to be
done.
done. That new police chief for Dallas, right now his name is slipping my mind,
The
but
Gonzalez is the last name Gonzalez. But but let's say let me throw this in on that what you're saying in regards to the police chief. Okay, uh, we're dealing with a influx. All right, of folks coming from California. Really, the high majority from California, but we're dealing with an influx. All right, and especially coming into Dallas, simply because a lot of big businesses come into Dallas. So therefore, there's your jobs and everything that's coming there, which makes us an employment mecca. But on that, you have problems. You have problems that we never had, but they come in, right? They come in. So you have to have someone that's familiar with these types of problems. Hey man, we got a ton of people in jail sitting on marijuana charges that just arrested for smoking a joint, arrested for this. They getting their lives damn near taken away or being put in a system because of what they was caught with. So how do we deal with this? But yet you have a police chief there from California who's very familiar with it and knows how to deal with it. Matter of fact, here's another double point on top of that. Our last police chief we had, the when they had the Black Lives Matter event, when they shot the guy that shot up everything, the last police chief he had, you know where he's at? He's in Chicago.
yeah, he's
Think
the
about
police
that.
chief of Chicago. Yep,
So it's interchangeable for the problems. It's like,
he's
hey man, we got a
he's
real
prime.
bad gun problem here. We got all this going on here in Chicago. Well, this would be the perfect guy for it because he took down this guy and held this situation. It was very chaotic. There was a lot going on. So he may be fit for that. You know, can you imply these rules and regulations in your strategies and techniques so you can help better us in our situation? Same thing going on in Dallas. That now this guy brought in you. Hell, police catch you, man. Police don't really even bother you if they see you smoking a blunt or whatever in the car. They just, if they want to, they can just give you a ticket. But other than that, they can't go no further than that. They can't even take you to jail for it.
Yeah, and if you ask me, stuff like that is a good thing.
It's a
Uh,
it's a, it's a great thing. Yeah.
Right. So it goes to applying pressure, though. It goes to applying pressure to your elected officials and letting
Yes.
them know what the people's needs actually are. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, look, the way that you guys been policing in the past, not what we need. We need it in a different way. But back to the Rittenhouse and just the injustice system, as I call it, as
Okay.
a whole, you
Okay.
know, um, all of this, man, to me, it just validates, one of the points that we hit on, or at least one of the topics that we hit on in the last show. Uh, this validates the study for real critical race theory, and how all this stuff uh, and how race is embedded in the justice system, the laws of this country, and if more folks understood that, then a lot of this stuff can be avoided, um, and for that matter, changed. So, fast forward to current day, you know, uh, not surprised. Like we stated from the beginning, man, nobody is surprised on the outcome of this trial by no means. But you
No,
see that some of these, radical, super far right conservatives are already running with the ball and claiming victory and offering Rittenhouse internships with they campaign and all this crazy stuff, man. And it's just, it's a trip. It's a trip. But
I,
hey, this is the country that we live in right about now.
if listen, man, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they do. Yeah, I can't. I think that every black person in the United States of America shouldn't allow themselves to be antagonized.
No, hell no.
When we set up here and we get mad and uh, we we piss our pants and we do all that because we get antagonized. I don't. It doesn't solve any problems. Okay, yeah, it doesn't solve any problems at all. You know what I'm saying? So for me, if that's, I mean, they have the freedom to do that. I can't I can't go against that because I myself I have to deal with the issues that's really and truly, plaguing our people and what we got to do. We don't show up at no city council, man. You want to talk about how police can change X, Y, and Z. First, those voices really start with showing up at city council meetings and voicing those things over and over again until you know you see the right people to make the right necessary changes. But if you don't see those people there, nothing happens, man. It's the same old shit. You'll set up and cry about it and cry about it and cry about it. I got yeah, I have a YouTuber that came in. I guess he wanted to say that, yeah, he's saying Cal is a hero and stop your burn. That's what
Oh
that's what
man.
that's what he's saying. So I mean, hey, if so, I mean, yeah, if so, I mean that is what it is. But I mean, he's a hero to you, you know, but he's not a hero to me. I mean, shit. But what I do want though
And to know what your
is,
definition for a hero is,
yeah, but I just want that.
not
I just
by
want
me.
that same representation though. If I'm out, right? If I'm out and I'm concealed carry, right? And I'm out and I get a couple of folks who don't, like me simply because of the color of my skin or what I'm saying or whatever. And they try to attack me and I pull out that thing on them and bust them a couple of times and then they life. I want that same representation to say, hey man, this dude's defending himself, you know, and that's how it is to it. So that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So because I want if that's what it takes, if that's what it takes to be a hero, I want to be a hero too. There's a lot of us sitting around saying, hey, well, we want to be heroes too. You know what I'm saying?
Me personally, I don't want to be a hero. If that's the definition, if that's your
No, but I'm
definition of
just
a
saying
hero,
what he's saying.
I
Yeah, that's what I'm
understand.
saying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. But speaking to that individual, um, you know, no. Uh, if if that's what the law is going to be, then apply that law equally across the board. But let's be honest, player, that ain't what's happening. And if you think it is, then you sadly mistaken. open up your eyes and see what's really going on in this world, and you'll see that that ain't what's happening around this country, and hadn't been happening around this country for some time now. So all that hero stuff, man, you can miss me with that. Um,
Already.
but if more and more of us, uh, I think, if more and more of us started uh, carrying our guns and being armed around here, I guarantee you that those laws will change, just like they did the Black Panthers back in the day.
I mean, we that we are, man. We are armed, but the sad part about it is, and I don't want to veer off into another lane, but man, we are armed. It's just the sad part about that is we're armed against us. We're not armed against the system. We're armed against us. That's another lane, and those are facts. Those are absolute facts. So that's something that we have. Listen, we in Texas. You don't even have to have a license to carry a gun here. You can carry. You can just carry. You don't even have to have a license. None of that. So you have the access.
That's part of the problem.
You
Create
have the
create
access.
a
You have that.
create a problem, and offer a solution. That's
But
what
that's
that law was about.
I don't see it. I don't know, man. This is how I look at it. As long as I can establish some relationships, if I can establish relationships, that law that Abbott put in place could be to my benefit and not to my detriment. But if I don't
Yes,
establish relationships and I let stereotypes and bullshit rule a day, that law would be more to my detriment. We
how
don't want
about
to
this?
establish any relationships. We
How about
don't.
this? Uh, former and current law enforcement officials have said that that law that Abbott passed to allow anybody to open carry and have a firearm in the state of Texas is only causing their job to be a lot harder and
If
difficult
they're
to
afraid, if
maintain.
they are afraid, yeah, it causes it to be hard. If they're fearful,
Because
yeah, it causes it to be harder.
but because of the fact that none of these people have to technically have training on that firearm, it most definitely makes it a problem, because now it's like the wild wild west and open season when anybody can just go get a firearm if they
I'm,
of legal age to get one, but
I get
still
it.
carry it at all times. Man,
I
you
get
see
it.
all types of cases of road rage around here, driving down the highway, somebody get upset that you cut them off on accident or on purpose, and then boom, there go some unnecessary gun violence when there shouldn't be.
I'm.
And those
We
normally
have
happen
been.
with
Check it
folks
out
who
though,
do not need to have a
bro.
weapon.
We have been the road rage capital before that law even took place. Okay, people been using their whole vehicles as weapons against each other before that gun law shit took place, and even in some instances, people were using guns before that law took place. That stuff has already been happening. Matter of fact, I
Yeah,
don't
just
even
in
see
case.
where it
Yeah, folks have
escalated.
definitely been using weapons here before
I,
the law.
I'm a well, brother. I'm a huge supporter of that law. For me, that law gets a big green check for me. I mean, I'm right there with it because, but I'm understanding we still have to be strategic with these laws. We still have to develop relationships to enhance the goodness of that law. And we do have to have conversations with law enforcement. We do have to develop relationships with law enforcement. We do have to represent, but we don't represent. We're underrepresented in that regard. And we don't get the benefit because we don't we're too stigmatized by the whole thing. So if we stigmatize by it, which leads to fear, which leads to judgment, which leads to a lot of assumptions and a lot of false assumptions, when all that stuff kicks into play, yeah, man, it gets really shaky on both ends. You got two people afraid of the same shit
I don't
when
know, man. I don't know. I
well,
mean, hey, look, I most definitely believe in the Second Amendment. Hell, I got my
I do.
CHL license my damn self, but I feel like what's the point in me going to go get that if I can just open carry and run around here without that, or uh, so yeah,
Point made.
I'm 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 to the I'm for the opinion that uh, any and everybody shouldn't have the right to go around here with a with a pistol or a firearm in general. I think it's better for anybody who actually has one to know how to use it, and be of the mindset that you only need to use it when necessary. So you just got to have training behind it. You
Well,
should
may I,
have
let
training.
me suggest this, brother. Still, let me suggest this, man. I feel like that you should contribute to that, and offer some gun safety parameters. We could do videos on proper proper gun safety things because we could offer that information.
Yeah,
Information
but
never
it's other
hurt
folk.
nobody.
I'm with you. It's other folk out there that are more professional about that than I am.
No, I'm no,
I
but
know
hold on.
how and what to do with it, but I'm not here to teach somebody else how to do
But
it.
okay, but we I got you, but we are in a position, right now where we can contribute value information, to a cause. If you perceive it as a drop in the bucket, okay, but understand that them drops add up into something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can bring somebody in on the show that can offer that technical information.
Hey man, now we will, soon we'll be having guests. We will have police on the show. We will have police chiefs on the show. We will have pastors on the show. We'll have some other points of views on the show. But I'm still stuck on those principles of establishing relationships because that right there is there's more benefit to that. There's way more benefit to that, than not. If you don't establish a relationship, yeah, man, because the reason why there's fear is because, well, I don't know exactly what they're thinking. Well, I don't know exactly what they're thinking. So if you have two sides that's not communicating and they both have a perspective, well, I don't know what they're thinking. Well, I don't know what they're thinking. Then all of a sudden, that's when deceptions and assumptions and all that shit kicks in, and then we just go in the wrong direction. And next thing you know, we got some shit going on. We got some bad shit happening.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? All of this little last part right here kind of bring takes us into the to one of the other topics that we was going to throw out there to talk about on this show today, which is uh, black ownership, and or black militias, just ownership, gun ownership in the black community.
Yeah,
So I'm for the again, I'm for the opinion that we most definitely need to exercise our right to carry a weapon around here and utilize it, just like all these other folks are doing. And it's really
nothing's blocking it.
it's not about. Don't get me wrong, it's not about trying to be like somebody else. No, what it is though is about protecting ourselves and our community. You know, um,
I agree
especially
with that.
with the law on the table, the way that it is. Okay, let's take advantage of that law because,
There's
like I
nothing.
mentioned,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's nothing in the way of preventing that from happening. We got it. It's there.
right, right, and like I mentioned before, though, it can get a little tricky. But right now, with the law on the table, the way that it is, okay, let's utilize it and arm up, uh, get your training, protect yourself, and just be be situational aware. Have practice. I'm sorry, fumbling over my words.
Okay,
Have situational training, knowing when, where, and how to use that. Given the situation that you might have to. But
understood.
like I was saying on how it can get tricky. Remember what they did when the Black Panthers was in California doing what they was doing.
Uh
Hey,
huh.
they knew their rights. They knew their rights. But as
Okay.
soon as they started going around here with the walking around open carrying they shotguns, Then them good old boys, they went in there and started passing laws and was like, oh, wait a minute, we only passed this law for us. And now that y'all, y'all black folks are
They
trying
they
to
they
exercise
exposed it.
y'all rights, we need to change these laws because we don't need y'all
So
coming around here with weapons. And you see what happened?
so
It changed.
I'm trying
Fast
to.
forward to
Well,
today,
that's what
they
I'm
changed the
saying.
law right back.
Nah, bro. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to okay. Yeah, I'm trying to understand because I like this law. This is a good law.
I agree.
This is great law.
I'm just saying it can be tricky.
Shit. Not okay. Again, if we not trying to establish some relationships, man. Yeah, it's gonna be mad tricky. I'm trying to establish some relationships. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Because I have to
oh boy.
listen. I have to listen. If how many times we gonna run in place, bro? We should be tired of running in place right now. We're just running in place, socially, economically, all this shit. We're running in place. We're not going anywhere. We have to develop some relationships in order to go some places. That's one of the things. Is like, hey, we got to
What
build
type
some
of
bridges,
relationship?
huh?
What expand on that? What type of relationships and
Okay,
relationship?
I go very simple with it. When I was talking about going to the city, the meetings, the council meetings, showing up at the city council meetings, being a voice, that's establishing a relationship. That's establishing a need. That's establishing, hey, I exist. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what's affecting the community. This is what we need to happen. Okay, two of us come in, three of us come in, 10 of us come in. We have to establish some relationships. If we don't establish relationships, man, then what happens is you're gonna have people who speak for you who don't even know shit about you.
Now that is a excellent point. That's excellent
So
point.
so we
You know
have
what?
to.
I think no, you are absolutely right. And there are some black uh gun groups and gun clubs rather. There's some black gun clubs around the city and around the state that are doing just that. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
training people in our community to learn how to use a firearm from A to
Okay.
Z. You
I
know,
don't
and
I don't
and
disagree
doing
with that.
yeah. Matter of fact, I can
But
give you some.
here's one thing though, brother. Here's one thing. I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. But when are we going to train ourselves to be diplomats and ambassadors of our neighborhoods, of who we are?
Absolutely.
I could understand being armed and being prepared, but you still have to before you know what before we have wars and before we have these disruptions across the world, we got diplomats and ambassadors there to say, hey, well, we don't like how you fucking with this. And they'll say, well, we fucking with it because of this right here. Well, you can't mess with it because of this. And if it, get bad, then that's when you had your big boys come in. That's when you had your big boys come in. We don't have that. We don't have any real representation. We don't have any diplomats and ambassadors. And I'm not talking about no funk ass, no, I ain't talking about no Al Sharpton. Because we don't have no, well, Al Sharpton was a leader for that generation or whatever. Well, currently we don't have any representation right now. We need some diplomats and speakers. And I'm not talking about somebody we didn't stash some money in the pocket. I'm talking about individuals that's lived in these communities that can be voices to the communities and also establish relationships with law enforcement, establish relationship with councilmen, council people, establish those deep relationships instead of dealing with the divides. Yes, you can arm your community. Yes, you can arm the organizations. Yes, but what's being armed without having representation? Without having a mouthpiece, without having, hey, this is what's going on. Oh, okay, well, we'll listen to you because we know you got this. But if you don't have that, I get it. I get it. Yes, do that. Train, arm. I get it. Prepare. I get it. But that's not building no bridge. That's not
Yeah.
getting us anywhere.
Well, no, I hear you. How about this? I don't know a whole lot about this particular gun club, but
You talking
I
about
used
NAGA? NAGA?
no, no, that's one of them. But Huey P. Huey P.
Oh, you talking
Newton
about the
Gun,
UP Gun Club here in Dallas?
right? Yep. So,
Okay,
to my
okay.
understanding, from the little bit that I do know about them, uh, apparently they are voices in the community. Also, not only do they, train folks and have a whole bunch of members, they go down and try to work with law enforcement about things going on in the community.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of. I'm going off the top of the head on that. I don't have a lot of information to provide on the technicalities of what they do, but to my brief information knowledge, rather, they do a little something. But the other one
Well,
that you mentioned, National African American Gun Association, yeah, that's one that's uh, gaining membership.
okay.
It's
Well,
several other ones though in Texas also.
I'm gonna make a power move right now. I'm about to make a power move right now, and this will be one of those drops in the bucket. But for those of you who are watching this, okay, especially in our communities, in the African American communities, any minority communities, if you see crime going down, if you see situations happening, call the police. Straight up. Call the police. If you see something, if you see something crazy, call the police. It gonna cost you nothing to call the authorities and say, hey, they over here doing this right here, or hey, they down the street doing this right here, or hey, I saw these at the park. Them brothers over there, they doing this. I seen some people over there doing this right here. Be active, you know what I'm saying, to clean the community.
And
That right there, that's a power move.
that right there is not snitching. That right
I
there
would,
is being proactive on
why,
protecting your community. So you know
why do
what, Steph?
why people
I
think that's
agree.
snitching?
I agree with what you just said.
That's not
You know what I'm
snitching.
saying? No, it's not. But some
Well,
ignorant folks
then
will
the
think
one that some the some that say that that's snitching, they don't count.
exactly.
They don't
Hey,
count.
man, I agree with what you
They
just
they
said.
don't count at all.
I agree.
At all. If the, man, you if you we if what are we standing on if we're not trying to unify community? What
Yeah,
are we
I mean,
standing on? Are we saying, oh well, hey, we can get together? But man, don't be calling the police when you see them folks breaking in somebody's house. Don't call the police. That's snitching if you see somebody breaking in somebody's car. Don't call the police if you saw, what is that? What are we standing on with that? That's not even right. That's not even morally right.
yeah,
We
no,
got to man, we gotta have
you
some
definitely
mouthpiece,
hit
bro.
on yeah, you definitely hit on something right there. That is, it definitely needs to. Some folk might not want to hear it, but it absolutely need to be said and need to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Because
It needs to be done too.
if yeah, because if we're gonna clean up our own community, or if we're going to keep our communities clean and safe, then we have to
We have to
be
police it ourselves.
one
We do.
pro. That's one. Police it ourselves,
And be
but
proactive.
also that's what I was getting ready to say right there.
Yeah.
The second one, also
My bad.
be proactive on wanting to keep it clean. And what I mean by clean is, hey, look, some of the what I like to call riffraff. Some of the riffraff that's going on in our neighborhoods, man, can be avoided and wiped out. Like, hey, if you want to walk around the street, you mean the community, and it look and be, different and safe for you, then you gotta speak up when you see something going on. It ain't a matter of telling on, I ain't telling on nobody. I don't want to snitch, but
Shit.
a lot of folks always.
Okay.
How about this? Some people in the black communities, they always think that they have to leave the community to, in order to get a better house over here, a
Right.
better education over there, better businesses over here.
Right.
Well, if we were to have a different mentality about and care about where we, are at currently,
Right.
And a lot of that stuff can change. A lot of that stuff can change. My humble
Yeah,
opinion, man, we can most definitely change our own communities. Put in a lot of black-owned businesses. Support each other in those black-owned businesses. One, two, and also keep a lot of that riffraff up out of there by doing what you just said. And hey, you see something going on over here down the street, around the corner, let that be known to the police
absolutely.
officials, and then they can, keep an eye on that, or immediately come over there and handle that situation.
That's
But
based
if you
off
don't say
relationship.
nothing, if people don't say nothing and think that, hey, I'm just gonna mind my own business, I'm not gonna say anything.
No, not
That
no
type of
more,
stuff
man.
keep on happening, and that type of stuff keep on growing, and then won't sooner or
Mm-mm,
later it get out of hand, and it's like, your whole neighborhood is done overrun with some type of stuff that you really ain't for, but you just
mm-mm.
over there being quiet and don't want to keep minding your own business, and nothing happens, or things don't change. So yeah, man, you touched on a subject right there,
I
you
would,
know.
yeah, I wouldn't. I think that and I've been thinking about this like, man, for months. But it's like it's to a point. It's like, hey, we need another black renaissance. We need another one. And I think this new renaissance of black ideology and thought process and movement has to be centered around, hey man, you know what? We gotta have some justice, you know what I'm saying, in our communities. If we can't, okay, let's say we can't get out the community, but we can affect the community to a point to where it'll be a better community, right? So we can do internal improvements to our community by developing those relationships that I was talking about, by doing those things. Say, hey, I got this right here, or we're gonna do this right here, or we're gonna do this right here, or we're gonna do this for the kids, or we're gonna do this right here, or and they don't like it. Well, it don't matter because we're gonna do it anyway. But no, I'm just saying accountability and responsibility. Those should be the new trends of the new black renaissance. Bringing in black businesses and not having that black bias towards black businesses. Black bias towards black businesses usually stems from us as black people. We get in that situation where we cast a lot of hatred, because we don't like to see the black face as the black owner of the black business. So therefore, we don't solicit. We lean more towards hatred than we lean towards like, oh man, let me check it out, or let me get this, or let me get that. We're not doing that. So we have to usher in a new mind state. But the only way we can get that new mind state to take root is by telling the truth and say, hey man, we know that you don't want to support this dude right here, or y'all don't want to support this black business because they black. And you black people, shame on you because you don't want to represent, you know, your community. You don't want to represent, you don't want to have economic representation across the board. That's the reason why I started. That's the reason why I started Black Wall Street, Texas, was simply for that purpose of having the entire Texas business community come together and build bridges amongst each other. So that way we could improve economic value amongst ourselves and economic value with those businesses. By doing that, that creates a lot of strength. So we have to support each other, and that's part of that black renaissance that I'm talking about. We can't continue to do the stuff that we're doing right now, man. We can't continue. Listen, we're villainized as black men. Yes, we see it on TV, we see it on social media all the time. Us, we're villainized. Yes, there's bad cops, but say there's some good ones out there too. And we got to develop some relationships. We got to develop relationships with the good ones. We got to get some good things going. We got to build bridges across the board. But if we stuck in a mind state where it's us against everybody, then our movements are very limited. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a mass amount of us, if I can unify a business community, then I can unify a community. If I can unify a community, that means I can have people showing up in different parts of the state or any other state, say, hey, we coming to the city council meeting. We just want to sit in and see what's going on. Because black folks, us, we're not sitting in on them, not realizing how much money is moving around in them city council meetings, how
Yeah,
much
man.
money they put on different things, and how they bypass us. Why? Because we're not there. We're underrepresented there.
Hey, right there, sitting in on some of these city council meetings, boy,
Hmm.
that right there is the play. And I've been uh plotting on that for I would say about a year now. But being with this pandemic, coming up out of this pandemic, a year ago, it was like, how can I continue to do this when everything is all shut down and everything is happening via Zoom? I sat in on a Dallas city council meeting one time, and it was via Zoom, and it just felt awkward and weird. I would rather just have been in person. Nonetheless, it was still good to sit there, listen, and see what was all being discussed.
Yeah,
Fast forward, where I'm at now, I've also did the same thing, via Zoom. But man, I can't wait till you can get back and be in there in person. That way, if I need to get up there and get on that microphone and speak my piece, I can.
absolutely.
But I agree that right there is the play, and more of us in the community should utilize that option. And
I'm
just
telling
getting
you.
back, but getting back to this owning guns and
Uh-huh.
ammo. We definitely as a community and people need to promote that more. Best believe it's some of us that do already, but we definitely need to promote that more. Like we should most definitely own our own firearm, be trained up, and know how to use it.
Hmm.
Situational awareness.
Yes.
There's a lot of gun clubs around North Texas and Texas as a whole that could
Right.
help anybody learn how to use a firearm. Shoot, we already mentioned the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. They got a gun club up in Frisco. The National NAGA, National African American Gun Club Association.
Yes.
There's even a what you call
They're almost as big as the NRA.
exactly,
Matter of fact, I
and it's
think they are
growing.
big now. They are. I think they are bigger than the NRA right now.
If they are, that's okay. That's what's up. But they definitely growing. A buddy of mine had mentioned them to me, and he was like, "Hey, man, what do you think about joining? Joining them?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "Let me look into them and see if that's something that might be a good idea." And it is a excellent idea. But there's another gun club, and well, not necessarily a gun club, but uh, a gun range, black owned range, uh, all across, here as well. Uh, body by Old Tactical. Uh, get out there. It's like outdoors where you get out and use your firearm, learn how to use it in an outdoor setting. Not
right.
just necessarily standing on an indoors gun range shooting at a target on a piece of paper. Uh, the Henry Johnson, uh, the Henry Johnson Gun Club. Who else? The Black Gun Owners Association, and another local one, Black Roots Training Academy. Those are run by none other than you know people that look like me and you. So if anybody out there listening, or interested in, getting some type of knowledge on firearm usage and getting one yourself, those that I just mentioned, look it up, and you know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm with that. I'm with that. I don't disagree with any of that, man. I'm all about, yeah, build your infrastructure, toughen your infrastructure, get the proper training. I believe in that, but
Now
I also believe that's just one facet of it all. But
it
yeah,
definitely is.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with any of that.
It's one thing I forgot to mention, man. I got to jump back in here and say, um, with all of this being said, We talking about, getting more involved as Black folks in gun ownership and things to that nature. And we just got off the subject of Kyle Rittenhouse, and we just got off stating that we have two different justice systems.
Hmm.
With all that being said, we most definitely need to stay aware of the fact that if we were to be, in a situation to where we had to justify ourselves for whatever actions we might take in owning that weapon or gun, for that matter, we need to be aware that we might face a harder challenge, but at the same time, man, at the same time, don't get me wrong. In any of the things that I'm saying right now, we still should exercise that Second Amendment right.
Whether we have it or not is going to be exercised, bro. I'm just glad that we have it. I mean, it's there. I just, more to it right now. We got the guns, and we got, the knowledge, and we got the permits, and we got all that shit. But you know we gotta have the knowledge, man, the knowledge to move forward. Yeah, we can be armed. Yeah, you gotta every
And the knowledge goes with
eh,
being involved with some type of, what I'm saying,
yeah,
gun club,
yeah,
because
we gotta have
those
it.
gun clubs offer and provide that
Yeah,
knowledge.
but see, I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the knowledge of those guns. I'm
I
talking
know what you're
about
talking about.
the knowledge. Yeah, the knowledge. To move strategically without the damn guns.
Yeah,
We got the guns. Everybody got the guns. Everybody really do have guns, man. But the fact is, but not everybody knows how to move strategically. Not everybody knows how to show up at city councils and articulate needs. Nobody is willing to talk to the police and articulate whatever. Nobody's willing to pick up a phone and say, "Hey, I got some motherfuckers over here. They doing some crime, and I'm tired of look." Hey, nobody's. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we can. Yeah, can we just be just as quick? We can pull a trigger, right? We can pull that shit out and do it just as quick. Why can't we just pick up that phone and call some shit just as quick? Why is that? To me, that's funny to me. That's jacked up. That we can pull that gun, we can shoot, but we question picking up a phone saying, "Nah, man, that's snitching. If I call, that's snitching." Dude,
it's
we're in a
a built.
real fucked up state of mind, bro.
It's been
We're in a
it's
bad state of mind.
it's been a built-in or a learned behavior. It's been a built-in conscious thought for us to think like that, and it needs to
Well,
be.
let me.
Folks need to hit the reset button on that thinking.
I
For real.
don't think like that, and I know I'm sure you don't think like that. It's just it's not popular.
Nah, just
We're, we're in the
folks
we're
is
in the
misinformed
minority.
enough to think like that. So.
My thought process and belief system is in the minority amongst my own.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, and for me, it's like if you're looking at what you believing in, you'll start to realize that what you believing in and the way you moving is immoral. It's not morally correct, and it offers no benefit, and it doesn't offer any highlights to it. It has no longevity in your personal life. It has nothing to it. Matter of fact, it's safe to say that you're confined by it. You're confined by those beliefs because you're not going to go anywhere, because you actually believe that you're not going to go anywhere. You can pull that gun out quick, but you won't mess with that phone. You won't say, "Hey, I'm this. I was witness to that, or I saw this, or I see that," because you afraid that somebody, "Oh man, you snitching."
You know what, man? It all ultimately it all starts with us. Ultimately, it all starts with the adults, the grown-ups, in the house, in the community, in the city. You
We're
know,
directionless.
well, we all don't we don't need a leader to lead us to the promised land. Each one of us are leaders in our own rights. So like I'm saying,
They not aware.
start in the home, start on your in your community,
Uh-huh.
start on your city. Inward out, inward out. Be the change that you
Okay.
wish to see, type of
Okay.
move, and from that it spreads. You know, um, that's pretty much where I'm at with that right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We don't need no the days of Martins and uh uh what's his name? All these pastors and political not political, but just pastors. Reverend Al Sharpton, that's the name I was thinking about.
Man,
All these
please.
reverends, those days are over. They did what they did, much appreciated. It's time for other people to step up and act upon what
I
needs to
don't
be done. And
I
even,
don't want a representative. I don't want no
that's
black
what I'm saying.
representative.
We don't need no special, messiah type of individual.
I don't want that.
Each one of us need to play our parts, and then collectively, it'll all come together.
That's what we
But at the
need.
same time, we do need to have some type of cohesiveness and be on some type of page with one another. I will say that, but we don't need, a leader for everybody to just follow. Hey, I'm following you.
No.
Not so much.
No, I don't
We
want
all need to be
that.
on the same
I
page.
don't want no program. I don't want none of that shit. But what I do want is we have to execute logical reasoning. Simple said, execute logical reasoning. Say, hey, we need 15 people over here for this. Hey, so and so is going to do the gun training and this right here. So yeah, that's for people who are ignorant of and want to be in the knowledge of. Yeah. We can do that. Hey, we need to form some strategies, on doing this and doing that. There was a situation, and you got to forgive me. I don't know uh uh all the names or all the players involved. I don't know that, but I do know the idea was a badass idea. And what this individual did was for the small businesses, he took a bus. He got a bus and he picked up with the bus, he picked up a bunch of people and made an experience out of it. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to this place over here and they have food, they have this, and it's a very unique shopping experience." And you
Okay.
imagine taking a bus load of 50, 60 people to a place and they get out, and all of a sudden 50, 60 people out there with the full intent to shop those small minority owned businesses and spend money and
Okay.
then come on back. Now, whoever put that together, reason why I say that is because not only did I witness it, I actually benefited from it. And that was unbeknownst to me. I didn't even know it was coming like that, but it came. So
That was an excellent idea.
yeah, so we need that. We got to have stuff like that that's still in effect, that goes into play. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just one of my things. But you was talking about Martin. So tell me what's going on with brother Malcolm.
Oh
What's
man,
happening?
this is my favorite subject right here.
All
I've
righty.
I've always been a more Malcolm than Martin. You
Right.
know, um, all my life. But as we all probably have heard and seen now in the news, that two of Malcolm's accused killers,
Hmm.
two of the people accused of assassinating him, were exonerated the other day, and actually, that's another one where we have to ask ourselves: are we surprised? Because as the story goes, as the story goes, we know that the two people that was accused of killing him wasn't really the ones who did it. And
Mm,
some people are in the know of that. Some people are not, and just take what the media and the news and some of these history books have stated.
right,
But um, in my reading and in my from my knowledge of you know brother Malcolm and his life, uh, none of the stuff added up. You know what I mean? And so
right.
let me just go back to it and drop a little, names and facts. Norman three X Butler and Thomas 15X Johnson were the two
Those
guys
two, yeah,
were the two guys that was accused of assassinating, or a total of three. One
yeah,
of them actually did it. He was
right.
actually involved,
And
but
he admitted to it.
he admitted to it. But these other two, uh, they were not involved. And the
Right.
one guy who admitted that, hey, those two
They
are
had
not,
nothing to do with it.
they didn't have anything to do with it, right?
Right.
But those two guys, they used to go by the names that I mentioned. Now they go by Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam. Um, they always maintain their innocence. Um, but the other guy, the third guy, Thomas Hagen, he's the one who claimed, admitted, "Hey, this is what I did." And we all know that Malcolm had a falling out with the Nation of Islam, back in those days.
Right.
But what a lot of people fail to realize is that there was an unseen hand that was involved in a lot of that falling out. One,
Okay.
and that unseen hand was really the one that was involved in Malcolm's assassination.
Right.
That unseen hand that I'm speaking of
Uh-huh.
is none other than our FBI system.
Right.
And again, goes to the justice system and how hasn't always been accurate. Uh, and back in those days, J. Edgar Hoover was the one that was running the FBI. And man, you and I know that uh, in the days of J. Edgar Hoover, man, they had everybody's number, and by everybody, I mean any black organization, any political individual in the black community that was trying to do
Right.
something and organize within our community, they had an eye on them and was watching them. They had undercover agents all over. They did all types of illegal uh, activities just to get dirt on said individuals, whether it
Right.
was Malcolm, whether it was Martin, whether it was the Black Panthers, whether it was, oh man, all of the Black Panthers,
Right.
Huey P, uh,
Right.
uh, Fred Hampton, all of them. And the FBI initiated that COINTELPRO, which was the organization up under J. Edgar Hoover that was involved in doing all this old dirty stuff. And man, I'm gonna be honest with you. That card that they played back in those times, I think that right there it played a huge, and I mean huge, move on the black community in those times. The direction that we was going back in those times with those leaders that that our communities had, like a Malcolm, like a Martin, like the Black Panthers, and everybody in doing that, they were so vocal, and Malcolm, specifically, was so vocal in trying to make our community aware, self-conscious, self-pride, and if more of that had gotten into the community, man, I think we would be in a different place right now. My humble
But
opinion, I think we
he
would be in a
couldn't.
different place mentally right now, and that
He
is the
he couldn't.
reason why. Uh, but it couldn't because of what they did, and they
Well,
by
but
what
I'm a.
who I mean
But
by
it,
they is the FBI, COINTELPRO.
yeah, but it was knowing what you know and knowing what I know. I mean, it was an opportunistic chess move.
Mhm.
Why? Because there was a disagreement with the nation and Malcolm because of Elijah Muhammad. What was going on with that? So once the disruption was there, that's all they needed. That's all that they needed to go in and have that happen. Trust me, it was an opportunistic chess move. They couldn't do anything else. That's what they had to do. And in the process of doing that, they created a net. They had that net, and them two brothers that you just talking about that served all that time, they got caught up in that net. And even to a point to where somebody said, "Hey, man, no, I did this. They didn't have nothing to do that. They didn't have nothing to do with that. They had absolutely nothing to do with that. It didn't matter. It was an opportunistic chess move. They wanted to make a huge strike, and that's what they did. And they got what they wanted out of it too. They got the death of Malcolm by the hands of the nation, okay, and they got some people put in jail. So they wanted to destroy it, and there was already some disruption going on simply because Malcolm spoke out against Kennedy.
Yeah, he did a lot of things back in his time, but um, it definitely was a dirty move. You can call it a chess move, but
It
it
was an
most definitely,
opportunistic chess move. Yes, it was dirty, but it was there. It was there for them to do.
yeah. But and that type of, like I was saying, man, that type of stuff, they were common. They did that quite often. But
Yes.
my thing is, man, a lot of a lot of that, man. If the cards wasn't played like that, I just put it like this: if the cards wasn't played like that, man, I think our community would have been in a better place right now. You put it
Uh,
like this: to
I,
to to just put mm, a lot of eyes on a Malcolm and a lot of eyes on these other political individuals who was trying to do good things for in our community, to have this so-called war on Black America, man, it just goes to show the dirtiness, the evilness of them folk. You know what I'm saying? Some of these white folk, man, they dirty and they don't play by no set rules. They play by they rules.
I
And
know.
I'm not trying to sit up here and label all of them like that, but man, them the ones that are though, that just like a J. Edgar Hoover, man. He was, man, that dude right there, for whatever reason, had it out for any and every political and black leader in the
Absolutely.
community. The dude had so much. He had so much hatred towards the things that those people would like Malcolm were doing, that he went so far as to go to Hollywood and try to influence people in Hollywood to stop making certain movies because it made the FBI and people in law enforcement look a certain way. You
Okay.
remember? Oh man, what's that guy's name? You remember those old black and white movies with the guy with the mustache, Charlie Chapman.
Yeah.
Charlie Chapman.
Charlie Chaplin.
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 Yeah, pronounced
Chaplin.
wrong. There we go. Him. Um, back in the day, it was said that J. Edgar Hoover had approached dude and confronted him and was trying to convince him to stop making certain types of movies because he was the one. He was the one that was making movies. I forgot the name of the movie because it slips my mind right about now.
He's
But it was
making ones about Hitler. He was making mockeries of Hitler and stuff like
it was
that.
certain stuff like
In
that.
his
But
in his silent, those were back in silent film.
but
days.
some of the movies that he made were about people in authority, figures, and was just making
Yeah, he was talking
look.
about the Hitler's Gestapo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Fast forward a little bit. Walt Disney. Did you know that Walt that oh boy, J. Edgar Hoover had blackmailed Walt Disney into being a undercover agent?
Nah, but
Yes.
yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't.
that was the case.
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover even blackmailed Walt Disney. I could go into that, but deeper.
But what?
But
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. During what are the effects of J. Edgar Hoover now in 2021? What are the effects of J. Edgar Hoover right now?
the effects is the trust within the black community. Man, we don't. I think my humble opinion is that it was a chain reaction to all that. You um, uh, you insert undercover officers, one, you get undercover informants, two, you wiretap all these people, you insert drugs off into the community, you do
Hmm.
all these things with an
Hmm.
unseen hand, so to speak, and you ultimately the cause and effect is us not trusting one another, because look at how the Nation of Islam was affected behind that whole situation with Malcolm's assassination. Malcolm was the biggest speaker, you know what I'm saying, that they had,
Well, yeah,
even though
but
he had already,
a lot of their
backed
a
out.
lot of their own ministers wanted him assassinated. They wanted him dealt with. A
But
lot of
that was but
internally,
that
a lot of his own. Louis Farrakhan himself said at that time that Malcolm was worthy of death for speaking out against Elijah, the honorable Elijah Muhammad. If
but a
that is
lot
that
of
not
that,
stoking a mind state?
they did say what they said, but a lot of that was uh, the flame and the fire was stoked by those undercover agents that was inserted off in there. You know how you can
It,
antagonize somebody by
but
somebody feels a little certain way, but if you be like, yeah, I think you should do that. Yeah, I think you should. Then
man,
you push
if there
that
were
person towards that.
if they were loyalist, all those ministers in the nation are they were loyalist to just like Minister Farrakhan has loyalists to him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had loyalists. He saved lives in there. They owed their life. Even at Malcolm at one point
Yeah.
felt that
But
way.
I think that whole relationship could have been worked out. With all they
No,
falling out, and
nuh-uh. I don't
I,
think that was working out.
but I think
Malcolm
that it could
spoke
have.
out.
He did.
Malcolm publicly spoke out against him.
He did.
That started the fire
And
right there.
he spoke out. He took his punishment, so to speak, from the nation when they silenced him, and he was like, okay, you know what? My fault. I said what I said, did what I did, and I'll take the consequences for it. He wasn't trying to take the consequences of death. He was just, uh, take the consequence of being
When he
silenced for a while. And
he was away from the when he was murdered, he was not part of the nation.
right, right. He walked away from it after his little trip to Mecca.
He was not part of it.
Yeah,
And there
but
was still that resentment there. It was still there. I'm listen, man. I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And it's and yes, there are undercovers there that stoke. That's why I say it was a calculated, opportunistic chess move because there was some animosities there. There was some feelings there. So why not put some gasoline on it and make it rev up and do what it do? I get that. I understand that. But please, before the gasoline was added, the fire was there because of Elijah told him, "Don't speak out against Kennedy." What he do? Oh, your chickens coming home to roost. I think it's this. He went public on that. He didn't go in turn. He went public on the news with that by way of reporter. And then the stuff that was going on with the kids Elijah Muhammad, those kids that he had
When
fathered
Malcolm found
internally,
out, yeah, when he
he
found out
he
about that.
went public. He went public with that. I'm telling you, the fires was there. So of course the FBI could be like, "Oh, hey, all we gotta do is we ain't really gotta do much, but all we gotta do is something. We can do something and tip that right on over." And that's what happened.
That's my whole point. At least most of my point. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I'm
They
just.
were the unseen hand in everything that was going on, and they
But
did
don't you
that a lot.
think?
Like
But
you
think
could
about this. If
look at
it
the
would have, I
drugs
think
from
it would have led to the
1830s
same
to the
thing.
present. I
I
don't. I don't.
I do. Them brothers was loyal to. They were loyal, just like they loyal to brother Minister Farrakhan right now to this day. They will put their bodies on the line for him. They will die for him. I'm just saying, and them same brothers, back then will die and all that for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, it was there, and you gonna have somebody come in and speak out against the brother like that? Yeah, they was like, oh, he's worthy of this, or we gonna get him, or we gonna do this, or we gonna. There was some hate, there was some real live hatred there in their
Yeah,
form.
no doubt about that, man. Trust and believe me that
Hell,
I agree
even
with that.
Muhammad Ali turned against him at one point.
Yeah, I was trying to say that too. Yeah, trust me, the falling out was there.
Yeah,
They had they had the Malcolm and the Nation of Islam most definitely had their disagreements. Said
yes,
that,
they did.
but I don't think that it would have went to the level of them killing Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? Without the
Okay,
antagonization and the unseen hand of COINTELPRO pushing and pressing the issue and having undercover agents inserted in all that pushing for something like that to happen. You know what I mean? I
so
mean,
you put it on COINTELPRO,
yep,
them doing making that whole thing go
absolutely,
the direction it was. Okay,
absolutely.
I got you.
Just like it happened with Fred Hampton, where somebody close to him winded up being the one giving dirt on him and them making the move to assassinate him,
Right,
just like they did with Huey P. And a list of others that was in the Black Panther Party. Keeping tabs on them, and just getting because once what's his name, Huey P. Brother was smart, man. All them dudes was college educated. They knew the law, they knew their rights,
right,
and they were on path to do some good things, man, for the black community. But
right,
you get them informants off in there to kind of veer them off of the direction that they're going, and just
right,
subtle moves, bro. Subtle moves that them COINTELPRO agents were doing, just derailed the whole movement. Back in those days, whether it was any of those names that I mentioned, what's the name? Got hooked on drugs and spiraled out of control. But
who?
Huey
Oh,
P.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Then he got killed on the streets. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
brother Bobby Seale still doing his thing
yes, I mean,
politically.
it was so many of them that obviously some of them came out on top, but it kind of makes you wonder, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, it makes me well, currently now it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. It's like, okay, I understand all these stories and I understand all these situations. I get all this stuff, but there's no movement amongst the people. Not right now. The only thing that I see, is I see the people moving against the people. I see black folks moving against the black folks. Just
That
I've
was the
said
effect.
this. I
That was the
said this.
effect.
Well, no, that's what I'm leading to. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, they looking at it like, well, shit, we don't have to do shit because right now, okay, black folks are waging war against black folks. Okay, those are the facts, man. People can set up and say, "Oh man, what are you talking about? What am I talking about?" Look at who's killing who. And I don't care. Listen, I don't care about all the other ethnic on ethnic crime, all that stuff. Let it be dealt with how it dealt with. I can't relate to the other stuff. I can relate to the plight of my people and what's going on with my people. And what's happening with my people is you got us killing us over senseless shit. I'm talking about we waging war because, oh well, I don't like the fact that he had the audacity to try to build up a business, so I'm gonna take him out. Or I don't like the
Bro,
fact that he said this, so I'm gonna take him out. That's the
dude,
mentality.
all of this is the effect from those Malcolm days, those Martin days, those
I
Black
don't disagree.
Panther movement days, where those particular organizations were, whether or not people present day want to think about this or not, for every cause there's an effect, and all of those bullet points connect from 2021 all the way back then to 1965 and on before that. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff that were of the Cohen Pro days, where they did all that type of stuff,
Mhm.
manipulated people against and pit people against each other,
Right,
is happening now. And but that is the that was the cause, but the effect was several things happened because of that. It's like dominoes. You know, you push one domino down, all of them get touched,
right,
but it was because of that initial situation that all those others happened. And so I say that to say this, yeah, you know, in our community, you know, sometimes we don't want to do business with somebody, or sometimes a dude in the neighborhood look at another black person a type of way and hate on them for whatever reason. But man, a lot of that stuff is learned behavior, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's individual situations, you know, or individual situations, but a lot of that stuff, man, ultimately was happening back then in those days, and I think it was a effect from that initial cause. I'll just put it like that. But you know what? I want to go back, said that point, but I wanted to go back and mention something else that happened back in those I'm sorry, Malcolm days, and
uh,
how the whole J. Edgar Hoover and COINTELPRO, you know, just how much of an effect, you know, how much they did to manipulate and society and pit people against one another. There was a movie. There was a movie on Amazon Prime. There was a movie called Seaberg, and it was about that famous white actress. Her name was Jean Seberg. You heard of that movie?
no,
Okay, it's
no.
a good movie, bro. I saw it. It's about old girl and how she was involved with. She happened to be drawn towards the, you know, black movement back then,
Hmm.
more specifically the Black Panthers, and
Hmm.
she wanted to get involved some type of way, you know, and help out. She didn't know how to do it. She wound up meeting Malcolm's cousin. Uh, his name was Hakeem Jamal, if I'm not mistaken. She wound up having a little brief affair with him. The movie goes into, you know, detail and kind of explains her whole little story. Um, but she donated a large sum of money to the Black Panthers. The
Hmm.
FBI got word of that, and they didn't like that shit. They was like, "No, this is a Hollywood sweetheart, blonde hair, blue eyed, you know, white
Hmm.
girl. There's no way that we can allow her to influence other white folks to show any type of sympathy, compassion for the Black Panther movement. We got to nip this in the bud. And
Okay.
doing what they did back in those times, like they did to all those names that we just talked about and mentioned, they did that same type of stuff with her. They had a smear campaign against her, spread false rumors about her life and about things that she did, and just all types of stuff. They caused all types of turmoil in her life. Um, but fast forward like years down the line, that was like when she was in her 20s, late 20s. But fast forward down the line when she was like 40, she had like dual citizenship or something like that between Paris and the US. After
Hmm.
all that stuff went down, she went and relocated back to Paris and lived the rest of her life out there. But she wound up being found murdered in the back seat of a car. She was missing for like 10 days. FBI, COINTELPRO. Best believe they had their hand all wrapped around that. Point I'm
That's
trying to make, man, they manipulated, did all types of stuff. And look, the FBI is supposed to do things legally to protect this country from
right.
foreign threats or okay, domestic threats. But
Right.
uh, what type of threat were the Black Panthers? What type of threat was Gene Seberg? What type of threat was Malcolm X? What type of threat was Martin? You follow me? What type of
Right.
threat were these people really? None. What they were trying to do were fight for civil rights, justice within our community, and all things in relation to that. Wasn't trying to burn down the country. Wasn't trying to assassinate any type of president. Wasn't trying to pull anybody out of office. They was just fighting for the rights of all black folks around this
Right.
piece.
So you don't okay. So you don't think you don't think that you think the clashes have been like you think it started with COINTELPRO? You think that
It
infiltrating
No, I don't think it
you
started.
think
How can I articulate this? I'll put it like this. It definitely didn't just start with COINTELPRO, but it definitely COINTELPRO took it to a whole nother level. I'll say that. They J. Edgar Hoover and COINTELPRO they took it to a whole nother level.
this is what I agree. I agree with yeah, the one thing that I land on when I hear that everything that I land on is the conditioning part. Okay. It, it is truly conditioning. Okay. Uh what's her name? Harriet Beecher Stowe or Harriet Beecher Stowe, that's her name. She wrote a book called Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Heard of the book, didn't know the author.
Yeah, she wrote a book. It come out it come out in 1852. And the name of the book's Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's when it was published. But in the story, and matter of fact, historically, this is how this is what I use as a measuring mark for talking. When I'm hearing people talking, they calling folks Uncle Toms and shit like that. The ones who use that word, Uncle Tom, against another black person or whatever, they're not even using it in the proper context because that's not who Uncle Tom was. But if you going back to what you said,
Doesn't that same thing apply to Sambo?
huh?
Doesn't that
That's
same
that's
thing
that's
apply
who
to
Sambo
Sambo?
is. Sambo, see, Uncle Tom was a saint. Sambo is the person. Sambo is the person. That's how I get. That's the deception. If you're
Right.
gonna call somebody a derogatory name, you should call. If you want to use that in context, you say, "Man, you acting like a Sambo."
Well,
Now,
I know a little bit about that part,
hold on.
how they flipped it. But go ahead.
No, no. We and see. Here's the thing: the people who flipped it. I'm gonna tell you who flipped it. Marcus Garvey's organization is the one that flipped it. Oh no, we're not no Uncle Tom's. He was talking about the book, the nature of the book, but wasn't being specific about the character. He was would want to be specific. He was not being specific about the character. He was about to, oh, we're not no Uncle Tom's, and Uncle Tom this, Uncle Tom that, Uncle Tom this, and before you know it, Uncle Tom became a derogatory term of reference. But besides that, I'm talking about the Sambo part, the self-hating Negro who wanted to kill his own people just to prove to his master that he was loyal to his master, that he hated himself. That attitude, that spirit, it still exists to this day. You know what I'm saying? It exists on every level. I'm talking about way after bondage, way after slavery. Those demons still exist. You got black folks walking into Asian owned hair places that they don't own no part of. Even the Asians don't even live nowhere near that place. They just there to soak up the black money, but they deal with a lot of self-hating Negroes who come in there and buy shit to look like something that they not.
I just thought
So
about something, man. You
so
remember
that's
that? You
self-hate.
remember that Superfly? I think it was a Superfly movie or some type of pimp movie back in the day where they was
Uh,
like, "Brother, we've been conditioned, brother. Even my conditioning has been conditioned."
Absolutely. But that's
That
but
part
but
right
that's what
there
I'm saying.
applies.
That's what I'm saying. It's there, man. It is there without a doubt. Yes, there are certain situations and chess moves that happen to make things happen to some of our prize organizations. But overall, when you get down to the grassroots of it, it's just self-hating. It's just self-hating Negroes, man. That still exists to this day. Self-hating Negroes. Why is he doing this and why do he have it and I don't? Why does this and I don't? Why is this and I don't? And then the animosity, the envy, and the jealous, all of a sudden action is applied. Evil action is applied. It
Yeah,
it happens, man. It
it does.
continues to happen to this day.
It definitely happens.
And,
Definitely
and I can shit,
unfortunate
I can go
that it
deeper
happens.
than I can go way deeper than that, man. It's a true
Stuff like that,
it
though.
is a true
Let's,
psychological issue with us, man.
but let's be honest, bro. Stuff like that happens in every community. It
Well,
does. White community,
I
Asian
don't.
community,
Well, that's what I'm
Hispanic
saying. I
community.
don't. But here's the thing, though. My concerns are not with those communities. My concerns is with our community.
Right.
I don't. I don't.
You
Yeah.
just want to be careful about pushing a certain,
Yeah.
putting it out there a certain way when that type of stuff happens.
Oh no,
Because
no. If I, when I tell the truth, I tell it, and when I, tell it how I'm gonna tell it, some may get offended by it, but please know that it's the truth. It's not something that I'm trying to insult you with. When I say that you got Asians coming into black communities putting up beauty shop stores that we buy from, that we don't even own any stock in or whatever, we buy from, and they disrespectful about it or whatever, and don't even represent communities, and they don't even live in those communities, they just take money out those communities. Those are not lies, those are facts. Now some people don't
yes,
like those facts, some people don't like those truths, but it's not for me to give a damn. It's for me to tell you the truth. Yes, those are what they call uncomfortable truths. People get, oh well, forget all of what he said. He said Asians and this and that. He was specific. Well, go to a beauty supply house in Oak Cliff and tell me who you see in there selling to you. If you see other than that, please snap a picture and show me. But other than that, nah. If you go to a gas station, see who owned that gas station and tell me if they look like you or not. You know what I'm saying? Go to the heart of these hood communities and tell me who they look like you. And 9 times out of 10 they don't. What they do, they just come in, they take the opportunities that we never had those opportunities and resources to take advantage of. We don't do that because we too distracted and all that other shit, and we want things a certain way. Nah, man, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. We got to show we I'm just showing a point to where it's like where the self-hatred comes in. Why do we believe, why do we seek approval from people that don't look like us? Why we got to set up and say, well, say, uh soon as Master Biden put this into play, man, we gonna be able to do this and do that. Well,
Mm.
soon as Master Biden signed
You
that,
know,
soon as Master Biden signed that George Floyd bill, man, we gonna have this and we'll be able to do this and do that.
yeah, don't
That ain't how it go.
nothing happens instantaneously. Nothing is like,
I like that, but
everything.
that's how I like that, but that's how he sold it.
Everything is a process. Everything
But
is a
that's how he
process.
sold it.
I heard you about that part, but to your point about how you go to those particular businesses and you look off in there and see who's in there.
Am I
That's
wrong?
no, sir, not at all. And
Um,
that is a valid point.
I'm not saying I'm not singling them out, but I am being truthful to my eyes are not lying.
Absolutely. I mean, man, there's so many ways I can go with that. Again, back to one of our whole motivations. Uh, we need to support each other.
Yes,
Business wise. Yeah, those particular groups of people have most definitely moved into our community, set up shop, and started exploiting.
and they
Certain.
don't want to live there.
No, no, yeah.
They
Now you
don't.
might find a few that's like,
Mm-mm.
you might find a few,
They have one
but
interest, that
money.
dollar.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I seen a I in well, I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. I won't be very specific, but I say there's a community, right, that's got a laundromat in there. Now, this is a poor community. They got a laundromat in there. Of course, it's owned by people that don't look like them, right? But the people utilize that laundromat because they're poor people. They don't have washing machines and different things, so the place stay packed and it makes a lot of money. But the people who own it, the ones who don't look like us, they keep it run down.
Hmm.
They won't even change.
Intentionally on
They,
purpose.
they won't even change the. They make so much money out there, but they won't even change the front lights to the lawn that says laundromats. About five of them lights, five six of them lights is out. They won't even change them. They won't.
Is it
They
that
won't
they
even
don't have
change
the
them.
money to get it fixed, or is it that they just pocket that money and keep it moving?
Uh, they don't care
Hmm.
because it's about the money. It's not about anything else. They could make money hand over fist, and I know they making a hand over fist. I know they make it hand over fist. I'm a verifier of that because the place stay packed. Cause all them poor folks is in there, and people that don't have what they have, but they gotta wash them clothes, and they come in there, bringing whole loads of clothes. So they making money because them quarters add up. Them quarters and dollars add up. So it's a lot of money being exchanged throughout a day. I'm talking about from 6 a.m. all the way to 11,
Okay.
but them lights don't get changed.
Huh.
They gonna get changed now. And some of the wash a lot of washing machines, you know what I'm saying? Some of them not working like they supposed to. They take forever to do X, Y, and Z. Some of the customers have to say, hey, this is broken down. Now, of course, they will help the customers and put them in a different washing machine or different dryer. They'll do that, but they don't fix that stuff right away. They don't fix it right away at all. But they got the capital to do it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah,
they
it
don't
definitely
care.
need to be. It definitely need to be people in the community that care about that community, want to
They
be
don't.
there in that community, and it just everything would be a lot better, and if that was the case. Unfortunately,
It's
sometimes that's not
not,
always the case.
you know
And
what?
those type of businesses need to
I'm
be
telling you.
pushed out by the
And
customers.
that's what's going. But no. But the customers are not aware enough. Why? Because they desperately need that service, right? So they get the service. But here's the thing. It doesn't really fix the light, that's one thing, but man, if the customer's coming in, why not have and the place is packed and it's always rolling, why not have some hot dogs or popcorn free for the customers, or show some appreciation for the people that come in there? Just make them, you know what I'm saying, feel like, oh man, that's cool, man. They do this, they do that. Make them feel, because you know those, I know for a fact that they know those people's plight in that community. But since the community ain't where it's supposed to be, they don't keep the place where it's supposed to be. So they looking at it like, well, since it's run down, we gonna keep it run down. That ain't cool, man.
Man, you know,
That's called slumlording. They slumlording.
a lot. You see that a lot of the times, man, it's unfortunate, but a lot of the times, low class, no, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say low class, low income, poverty stricken
Yeah,
neighborhoods and individuals, for that matter, get looked at as lesser than. That right there,
that's what I'm
bro, is
saying, bro.
so unfortunate. That happens with more than just a business owner of a washateria like you're talking about. That
That's what I'm
happens
saying.
with police officers who are in position to serve and protect. But I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole
No, you're
of
right
that.
though.
But you
Because
know,
you know what I'm gonna say after that. What changes that is relationships.
yeah,
A
and
vocal, a voice. Hey,
yeah,
I'm a taxpayer. Speak the same language. Hey, I'm a taxpayer just like you. This is what's going on. Or hey, boom, boom, boom. Just let them know you common folk. You representing the people, and watch how it change. But if you don't speak, you know what rules the day?
yeah,
Assumptions,
and that.
deceptions, all that shit. That shit rule the day.
Yeah. So back to front, just like you gotta be vocal and with a police officer who tries to look at somebody in a poverty-stricken neighborhood as a bad guy just because they're poor. Same
Yes,
thing applies to that washateria
I'm
owner.
I'm telling you,
Look,
man.
we giving you business, but you need to blah 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 whoop 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 whatever
I'm
whatever needs to
telling
be
you,
said
brother.
to that individual.
I'm telling you, I'm just giving you like examples. It's like examples like that all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is just like, okay, yeah, yeah. Let them do what they do, but there still has to be a renaissance of the mind to where people say, hey, but you know what? You know, let's get together, organize and do this. Let's
Yeah.
get together, organize and do that, you know, because those businesses, they actually they take the money from the community, but at the community, but at the same time they insult the community as well. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And once it's
So
brought to the
it's
people's
not good.
once it's brought to those consumers' attention, uh, I most definitely don't think they would like that and might make the necessary action. But you're right, man. If they don't know and they so desperate just to have, a place to go to wash their clothes,
I'm telling you, bro.
uh, yeah,
It's I'm
I
telling you.
hate when stuff like that, people like that are exploited.
I get it. It happens like that, bro. I get it. I went through it. I went through it this morning. I had a lady uh come into my DM and said, "Hey, uh how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing fine. What's going on?" "Oh, I'm a bit down, depressed, I got all these prescriptions and stuff that I got to pay for, and if you could just, give me, $200-300, that'll at least help me out, in the process." I get stuff like that, bro. I
Hmm.
got stuff like that this morning. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's like that. So for me, in my mind, it's like, well, ma'am, you know, there are tons of resources out there for
I
you.
was just gonna say, did you,
Tons of
kind of
resources.
lace up on, types of resources that
Absolutely.
you can use for some type of help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the facts are you chose to beg.
But,
You
man,
chose to beg, and you begged because
yeah,
you knew that I had a business. You knew that I had an existing business. You knew I had an existing profile. So you try to get in and say, hey, well, I need this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? And in
Maybe
my
that's the only
mind,
maybe that's the only way they knew how to ask. Keyword being maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information in regards to that situation.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying it's a there's a battle on all fronts. It's not just one. It is a bunch of different fronts that we have to, we gotta fight, we gotta attack, and a lot of it's all around these thoughts though. It's what you think, and you gotta like we have to attack that with the truth. We can't set up there. I tell my mom, I say, hey, any room that we in and there's a gorilla in there, I'm either caging it or killing it.
Hmm.
But I'll never sit up there and act like it ain't in there.
Right on.
We got a problem where we act like it ain't in there. Same shit with the phone call and the talking about, oh, that's snitching. Well, that's acting like it ain't in there.
Hmm.
You say, oh, well, man, I saw them do it, but shit, I ain't gonna say nothing. Well, you acting like it's not in there. Well, you gotta either cage it or kill it. And you got the opportunity to do it, but you prefer to act like it ain't in there. We gotta get past that, bro.
Yeah. That's because
we gotta get past that shit.
best believe yeah, I'm not playing that game, you
It's
know.
it's a it's a it's our downfall, man.
Yeah.
It really truly is. We need therapy. That's why we have this show. We putting therapy out there, man. So at least people, man, you draw a perspective, I draw a perspective, and people listening to that, they're able to process and understand some things. So we're providing therapy. We're doing our part, man. We're doing our part. We're making some things happen here. You know,
Absolutely. I most definitely hope that anybody
bruh.
watching this, and people get that out of it. Like, hey, we opening up some wounds, but we trying to offer some type of healing at the same time, for whatever and however you can get that, you know, drop a little knowledge, talk about
Absolutely,
some
bro.
stuff, share
Absolutely.
perspectives on, things. But, at the end of the day, got to get something from it.
We're doing, man, we're doing some great work just by speaking and putting those voices and those perspectives out there. You, like I said, you draw one, I draw another, and that's how our chemistry works. So that way people can take those pieces, you know what I'm saying, say, oh, okay, at least they can finalize it in a certain way to where, oh, I can use this. I can use what he said. Oh, I never thought about it like that. I never did this like that. Or man, I'm glad I was told that. So we're doing the job, but we have to, man, bro, we have to cage and kill those gorillas, man. We can't sit up there and say, and play like they don't exist. No, they
Right.
exist.
You go high, I go low, or you go low and I go high.
It
Whatever
say
the play,
as
we
long as
gonna
it, well,
we
put it
gonna
like
get
this.
that shit.
I'm not gonna hurt. I'm not intentionally trying to hurt anybody's feelings, me speaking the truth, but I know the truth is gonna hurt a lot of feelings. You know what I'm saying? Simply because it's
In
the
certain
truth.
situations, the truth needs to be said. Really, in
You
all
can't.
situations,
I've learned that you can't even. I have learned myself that you can't say it a certain way. You absolutely can't, because it's the fact. It's like somebody having a bill due, knowing for a fact they don't have the money for it, and then somebody say, "Hey, man, you got to pay that bill." And they gonna say? Yeah, I know it's got to be paid. But say no, you got to pay this bill, dog. Yeah, yeah, man. Say I know it's got to be paid. Well, do you have the money? Say, man, why? What's up with it? What's up? Then that's when it comes in, just like that. We don't like the truth of the matter. We want to circumvent. Oh man, you ain't got to speak to me like that, or you ain't got to say that about me. Yeah, I know I did this. Well, if you know you did it, you just don't want to hear it back. You don't want to hear that back. You don't want to hear that process back, cause your mental can't stand the shit that you did. Well, we got to show that mirror, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to heal ourselves psychologically, is to have those hard truths hit in our head, so we can process and get that shit out of our system, because if we keep those hard truths inside us, eventually they turn cancerous. And when they turn cancerous inside us, man, we age faster, we get diseases, we get a lot of shit. We just not we're out of spiritual balance, you know what I'm saying? And then we lost. So why not take those truths? And if it hurt, it's supposed to hurt. The truths I deal with, man, shit, them shits, they supposed to hurt. Ain't no way of saying ain't no way. You can candy coat the truth. I can candy coat the truth, but it's how it affects the person that you're telling it to. You can say, "Hey, I just want to know, we saw you doing crack the other day, and that's a bad thing. Why y'all up in my business? Nah, 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 nah. But how do you say it? How do you tell somebody? How do you say it? Hey man, y'all fucking up. Say, man, no, we know we fucking up, and you can't do. Okay, y'all not doing it right. Well, say, man, what we ain't doing right. It don't matter. The truth is always, when it hits a person, it's always debatable. They always want to debate it, but it's there, but they want to debate it.
Right.
They do. They
I hear
want
you,
to.
bro. No, I hear you.
They want to debate it. Boom, boom, boom. But it's always there. It ain't going nowhere. It's just debatable to a point to where they submit to the truth. All right, man. You got what do I need to do?
Hmm.
What do I need? Because this is bothering me, and I need to know what I need to do till we become submissive. But other than that, bro, I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna bother some folks. Yeah, I'm gonna say some things improper that's gonna sound a certain way, but I don't mean to. I don't mean to insult or degrade anybody, but what I do mean to do is draw some clarity and get some clearness of the fog. So at least we could see some type of light, some type of direction, or get on some type of pathway to where we need to be. And if it takes for me to stir up a few nerves here or there with my uncomfortable truths, then that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm not gonna. I'm most definitely. I'm not gonna. As far as political perspective goes, I'm not gonna lean far left, and I'm not gonna lean far right. Hell, both of those ideologies are symbiotic of each other, like yin and yang. They need both to operate properly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
To reach sound ground. So how can I tear one up and just ride with the other? You know what I'm saying? I need them both. So no, that's where I'm at, brother. That's where I'm at, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm going to hurt some feelings, and it's not that I don't care. I'm hurting your feelings because I do care.
Already. Yeah, man.
All right.
Can't disagree with that. Sometimes feelings need to be hurt.
Well,
Sometimes truth needs to be said. No matter how it's said, it just needs to be told.
you have
So,
to tell it.
hey,
You have to.
it is what it
We
is.
supposed to be at least strong enough to take it. Do we get hurt? Yeah, man. That's why we're human beings. We supposed to get hurt. But man, where there's hurt, there's healing. You hurt when you get hurt, when you get cut, your body, yeah, oh man, it's pain. But immediately after that, there's healing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So hey, I'm willing to hurt, but we gotta heal too. And that's how the only way I can that's my logical approach to
I'm
it.
with you on that. We most definitely got to heal. Whether it's from all the news of the week that we done heard, all the news from the day that we done heard. Whether we like it or not. There's some healing to be done within our community. Uh,
Yes,
and hey, it's gonna happen, uh, and we gotta move forward after it's done.
absolutely, bro. All right, man. We have put 2 hours of goodness out here for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's 2 hours of watch time we're about to get for the Bang and Steel show out on our respective platforms. So I appreciate everybody that that's coming in on the live streams and also the restreams of the show. We coming back with some more stuff. We coming back hitting harder, and we got to spit some more of those truths and some more of those perspectives. Why? Because we trying to get right. Because right now we ain't can't get right mode, and we trying to get right. So the way we can do that is by spitting some truths, telling some uncomfortable truths, spitting some facts and some perspectives, and respectable strategies. So with that being said, man, another great session, another great show. Um, we'll be back again with a new show, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching the Bang and Steel show.
Yup.
Deuces.